go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody really expected the Muslim to make it this far, and that's no slight to the Muslim. It's just the competition is really strong. And speaking of the
Indeed, and
Muslim, we have him over here on the left-hand side, playing as the Chinese in the blue. And over on the right-hand side of the map, we have IamMagic playing also as the Chinese in the reds.
I want to highlight this map because I freaking love it. I love its structure of it. I don't know if it's balanced, but I love how it looks. It is the like this is Hill and Dale, but you wouldn't really know it from the fact that it is so weird looking. Usually, you get the bases north and south, or like both in the same sort of corner. This time they are left and right, and I mean the distance between them is overall tiny, at least the distance to their high grounds. So this is gonna be a very interesting Chinese game, I feel.
Yeah, there's like this really short rush distance between like, the natural entrances to both bases, and then there's like these little attack routes on the sides. And if we take a look at the resources, there's like two things of wood for each player. And oh, I mean what I'm looking at right now, I think this is going to be the big, like, late game confrontation point potentially, is this
Yeah,
gigantic forest at the bottom of the map.
absolutely. It is gonna be a thing of like if it comes down to siege, like we saw with the Muslim versus Marine Lord, it is gonna be about the wood line.
And actually thinking about it, there's a couple of very small stealth forests at the back of the Muslim's base. So he does have a little bit of an advantage in terms of wood,
The
but
thing
it's
is that
only
that
a
might
tiny
be
one.
like 5,000 wood total, somewhere around there. It's not like not even 5,000, maybe like 2,000 wood with those stealth forest. So he's gonna be in a little bit of trouble.
But I mean, if it comes down to it, like, it is a nice little
Yeah,
thing to have, I think.
desperation is if it becomes a war of attrition, you use absolutely everything that you have.
Yeah. Oh, I love what Iron Magic just did there. They pushed the deer away from the mill of the Muslim and then killed them. Just like that small economic harass. Like, you've got the time to do it, so might as well go for that kind
Yeah.
of thing there. And we're seeing mostly similar things from both players. Although, ooh, I say that actually. Are we seeing a bit more wood going down here for Iron Magic? The Muslim on 3. Oh wow, Iron Magic actually going for 6 woodworkers, so I was completely wrong. We're not seeing similar things.
I think it might be because the Muslim wants to play it a little bit more defensive. So I wouldn't be surprised if he is the first player to walled off. And if he is a little bit aggressive, and I kind of would love to see it, I would wall off my opponent. I would put it like in front of the berries at the entrance of the Muslim base, and uh, and just gate him off in that sense to make sure that like there is no way that he can take that rush middle, even if it is for a little bit of time. And the unfortunate thing is that the Barbican of the Sun is going up in front of there, so those dreams are gone.
Yeah, the Muslims actually gonna take a big lead in terms of like age, really. Iron Magic isn't close to aging up. He only has 99 gold. And only 3 workers on gold right now? I guess like tax collection can come into play here. We're gonna see the
Probably
mill.
he is. Iron Magic is walling off one of the entrances to his base, not the main one, one of the side ones, and oh, and he's walling off the berries and the deer over here, and the rally obviously.
Yeah.
So he's grabbing that little patch. I'm surprised that if he did that, he didn't grab this stone here. Although he does have 2 small stones, so that could be fine.
Yeah, the Muslim is very content just to say, I have a Barbican at the front of my base. I don't need walls just yet. And Iron Magic, they're not. Oh, actually, I think they are just about to go up to H2. Here we go. And they're going to go for their own Barbican of the Sun. Actually, that's a very interesting choice, considering the fact that
Yeah,
they have
that
walls.
he's walling himself off.
Yeah, I don't know if
At
you
least if
needed.
you were putting the Barbican, I would have at least put it like somewhere where it could have a little bit of an offensive use in terms of deterring any attacks from the front or somewhere else. There is just, it's only gonna be there if you end up getting raided, which is not gonna be that likely if you wall off your entire base.
Yeah, and the Muslim, they only had one worker on their Barbican, so you know,
Not a big priority.
yeah, but they still got there a lot quicker, and that means that they also didn't have to take people off of resources, so you can have a bit of a bigger economy because of that as well. That said, IamMagic, they do have 2 Imperial officials, and if we look over at the Muslim side,
Yeah.
oh, actually, the Muslim also has 2, so...
The Muslim is also going up to 2 TCs. He knows that he's a little bit safe, and he probably knows of the walls for IamMagic, so he's just saying, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna boom. If you're
Yeah.
gonna wall yourself in, I'm just gonna do me.
Yeah, because these walls, I mean, how much wood is that? Probably like 300s? Maybe even a little bit
Yeah,
more. So that's basically a town center's worth of woods. Or at least close to it. And yeah, there was just like, well, I'm just going to have a TC and I'm just going to boom. And yeah, if your opponent is just going to sit back and play defensive, then yeah, this makes sense. You're just going to go for economy. It's that very well-versed strategy triangle of aggression beats economy, economy beats defense, and defense beats aggression. So
yeah.
yeah, the Muslim, and now the Muslims getting walls. They're like, okay, I've got my economy up. They've got these 2 TCs. They're gonna start building walls.
I would actually like to see him wall. You know where that south sacred site is that has the major wood line? I would like to see it wall in front of that sacred site, right where the cliff meets the edge of the map, because it gives you a major gold, a major stone, the board, the market, the wood line, and the sacred site, and you can likely protect it with either keeps or just good units. Even if you don't wall it entirely, just walling off a little bit so that you create a choke point of sorts would be a pretty good idea here for the Muslim. Because again, your opponent doesn't seem to be willing to come out, so you can take the map control and you can try to solidify it. But no, he's just gonna make a simple wall. He's just gonna wall in the entrance of that one.
And here comes the Imperial Academy. So that's the Muslim going to be on the Song Dynasty right now. I don't think we see anything like that on the side of IamMagic. So yes, but IamMagic, they're getting their second TSC up now. I'm gonna build it over on this top side of their base. Yeah, it's just gonna be a nice chill macro game. I'm gonna see some SimCity. If there are any Northgard fans out there, they're probably gonna be enjoying this.
I do like this a little bit more aggressive walling by the Muslim that he tried here to grab the berries as well. It's small, but it is something.
Yeah, I mean, if you can grab like a little advantage like this, then you should absolutely go for it. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you look at like IamMagic could possibly have grabbed the stone in front of his base. That would have resulted in a much weaker
Yeah.
wall, so I can appreciate why they didn't go for that, but yeah.
The other thing is that at least at this time, if the Muslim builds things like Trebuchet once he hits H3, he's gonna be in range of anything that comes out of IamMagic's wall. Like I think the wall is just out of range if he put the trap behind the walls. But if he has a good enough force to protect it, he could get a trap out of that wall and build and destroy the IamMagic front wall, and then have an open raid into his opponent's economy.
Oh, I just realized the Muslims walled the opponent's scout in.
Oh, and he did it with the sheep on the other side, so that sheep now is absolutely stuck there.
Oh, he's actually gonna grab the sheep. Yep, there we
Yep.
go. Oh, that's so funny.
It's small mind games to throw off your opponent.
Yeah, because stuff like that isn't really a big advantage, but it's still one of those like if you see you lose your sheep like that,
Yeah.
you're just gonna be like,
It
oh, come on.
it forces that mental capacity to get into work because now you have to think like, did I actually need that sheep? Because you were in auto mode. So now that your auto mode has been disengaged because you lost a sheep, you might be thinking, okay, but did I actually need that sheep for food? So it can throw you off your game if you weren't expecting it entirely. And the Muslim now getting the Clockwork Tower, and is going to start to get that siege out there, like the trebuchets.
Yeah, although I'm looking at IamMagic's base, they have a third TC up in their main. So
Yeah, on that deer and berries, just getting all of the food as much as they can. So they are going to be building their next landmark soon, I would imagine, because that is a lot of food that you can use for that tier 3 landmark.
yeah, and that's 3 TC with Song Dynasty as well, so they're gonna be booming real hard. And maybe the Muslim just doesn't realize, like, I guess at this point you kind of just want to go for a third town center, like potentially, unless
Yeah,
you want to go aggressive.
the only thing, like, where I would put the third town center, but it is risky. But where I would put it is next to the boar and the wood line, and just start building up a base there. Because in that location, you can get the boar to provide you the food that you're gonna need to sustain that TC, and you're gonna start chipping away at that wood line. At least in my head, the sooner that you're getting that wood line, the better it's gonna be, because you're not gonna be mining your own wood line, and you're gonna be potentially avoiding your opponent having that wood line in the future. Any resources from the neutral space that you either take or destroy is a net benefit for you.
All right, we're seeing IamMagic go up to the third age just now. They're also going Clock Tower, as is pretty standard. It's probably, I would say, one of the best landmarks in the game.
Yeah, it certainly has a fight for that one.
And they're both pretty even right now. I guess, like, yeah, the big advantage, IamMagic on that third town center. They're going to be booming much harder than Demuslim. But Demuslim, they do have the siege up a bit earlier. I wonder if that's going to really come into play here. They are boosting the clock tower, so they're trying to get like a decent amount of siege out here. 3 nests of
Yeah,
bees.
3.
But the thing is, you have to actually use your siege to get an advantage. Because, like, it doesn't really matter if you've got a bigger army than your opponent right now. If you're just sitting back and letting them boom, then you're not really achieving much with it, and your opponent's slowly getting further ahead.
Yeah.
I
Neither player really wants to fight.
Yeah, IamMagic up at 87 workers roughly, and the Muslim up at like 81, so it's still fairly close, but yeah, IamMagic
Yeah, Iron
slowly
Magic
pulling
has
ahead.
been doing a round of economic upgrades at the moment, just getting some um like the double broadaxe, and I think he also got a couple of the granary upgrades too. Let's see. Yeah, he got pretty much all of the granary updates except for professional scouts.
And the Muslim, oh, they don't even have horticulture, they've just got wheelbarrow, no double broadaxe either. They do have forestry,
Yeah.
but I think, are we going to see a big palace guard push? We might. 4 barracks coming up for the Muslim. And they have a lot of food and a lot of gold to work with, and they might just go for it.
It would be the right choice because right now IamMagic is building Lancers. So sure, they're strong in melee combat, but those um, the Imperial guards are also really powerful.
And what we're seeing the Spearman upgrade come out. Interesting.
Okay, so he probably saw the Lancers and is just trying to get ahead of that one.
I don't know how you would see that though.
Maybe just a good guess. It's not like there are going to be many other things getting built, and he knows that if Siege is out there, you kind of want to have Lancers because they have a really good potential damage against those Siege units. They can rush them down, So just getting a couple of spearmen to make sure that his siege units are not rushed down is probably the way.
And we're just now seeing Monastery come up from the Muslim. I don't think he's built anything out of it just yet. What are we seeing? Lancers, they're just going to run around and get map control. Do we have a Monastery up from IamMagic? They don't believe so yet.
I don't think they do, no.
So, I mean, that's like some free money that was sitting right there. There's literally a relic sitting next to a 10 center. So, maybe the Muslim just wants to kind of push out, gain some map control. And they're going up to Imperial, actually. It's like,
Man, it's crazy to think that this is a 15-minute game and we are getting into the Imperial Age, and there has only been one unit killed, and it was IamMagic Scout that went to the other base that got trapped. That is the only unit that has been killed so far.
and the Muslim actually just running these workers away. I don't really agree with that. I think you could have just sent one to repair that wall, and it would have been completely safe. And now the Muslim building stone walls much more defensively.
It seems like the Muslim doesn't want to engage yet, but that could be problematic.
I mean, that also could just be part of the plan, right? There could be some kind of sneaky surprise push coming out. Maybe we're going to hit Imperial and just push with like a big Imperial army like as quickly as possible.
The main thing would be if he had like 2 trebs. He does have a scout on the sort of main entrance of IamMagic. If you get like 2 trebs and you trap down the wood wall, and then you like swarm in with units that you were holding back a little bit, then you can attack the direct economy of IamMagic. IamMagic has both of his DCs and still a wood line there. Like if you get a couple of lancers in to do damage to that from the main entrance, then you're gonna be in a much better position than IamMagic, who tried to raid from one of the sides. But obviously too late for that now.
And we do see IamMagic, they are starting to pick up relics on the map. They did get that monastery up. And they're also going to go up to Age 4, Spirit Way coming out here on the map. And oh, a big engagement at the front. Oh, but Lancers run into the fire of these Clockwork Nesta Bees. I don't think the Nesta Bees numbers are quite high enough to deal with the Lancers. And they do not have enough stuff in front of them either. Only a handful of veteran spearmen right now. Oh, Bombard Cannon comes in here though. And that's going to be really scary. It's just going to one-shot anything that comes close. Now IamMagic hits Imperial Age. And if we take a quick look at like the population size, IamMagic's up by 30 population, has 140 workers.
Yeah, that is quite a bit of eco, my friend.
Yeah, the Muslim down at 113. And yeah, like, you could make a case for when you go up to that higher worker count, your army size becomes a bit less threatening, but the Muslim, they're still a bit lower on economy, so...
Yeah, I would like to see IamMagic be a little bit more aggressive right now and just push forward and build keeps. I think he has the stone already. Yeah, well, he's getting it right now, but just getting more keeps. You have the villagers to spare, right? It's okay if you lose a couple of villagers building a keep on a more aggressive position, but the more and more that he waits, the closer and closer he gets to the plateau of the economy, and Muslim is just gonna reach. It's just gonna caught up to him eventually, right? So at this point, you're getting, you're not getting as much return on investment for producing villagers and getting more and more villagers on it.
Now we'll take a quick look. The Muslim does actually pick up the more contested relic. So if he grabs the one that's kind of behind that palisade wall at the north, he will be ahead in that regard. But now
Go ahead and look at the Spirit Way landmark for IamMagic real quick.
Oh,
Go ahead and
wow.
look at how that building is looking up in the north. That is gonna be a lot of fire lancers, my friend.
That is gonna be a significant amount of fire lancers. Oh wow.
And they are cheaper. They are 30% cheaper, so it's not even like they're gonna cost too much. It's just 14 gold, 14 wood, and 56 food. That is a lot of fire lancers.
And the Muslim doesn't
Holy.
have anything near his spirit way. So, oh,
Yeah.
it's going to come down
Oh
a
my
lot to control
god.
here. Spearmen are kind of like the natural, I guess you would say, counter to fire lancers. Like, at least ideally, you know, you brace, you don't let them do that AoE charge. But the fire lancers can just kind of dart around them. And
This is
oh,
again the point that I would say go ahead with a few villagers and your fire lancers and build a keep. Because if you can fight with your fire lancers under a keep, and you can see kind of he's doing that with another keep on the gold up north. If you can just fight under your keep, those spearmen suddenly lose a lot of their power. Not necessarily because they no longer get a buff against cavalry units, they still do, but the constant fire of the keep is debilitating them more and more every second. So,
alright, we have a big engagement coming in here. These spearmen, they're going to try and do some damage to this keep.
oh, there's. Go ahead and look at the entrance of the Muslim base. He just lost one of his bomber cannons, and the fire lancers, or like, yeah, the elite fire lancers were right there. And I think they're going to be trying to get a hit here once again. And the Springles are there, but they're
Oh,
also going to get killed.
yeah, Springer's just going down to these cannons. Some damage done on this keep, but a whole bunch of a mixture of lancers and fire lancers went down, trying to defend it. And I love this. The Muslims just mining in front of Magic Space. Oh, Spearman fighting Zugno? Actually, I think Spearmen do okay in this fight.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good brace.
Oh, not quite good enough though.
Oof. They do get the charge off on a few of them, so
And the
it's really
single
bad for
bombard
Muslim.
cannon up at the north, knocking down this palisade gate. I think he's just going to try and use that to create an entrance. But oh wow, the Muslim's just going for the front push now. He actually is
Yeah.
very close to being maxed.
Oh, that's a lot of idle villagers right there. IamMagic. You need to move them the heck away, brother.
Oh,
Those former woodline villagers were just hanging around and were about to be
oh,
killed
here
by
comes the
a
engagement
lot of
though
villagers.
from IamMagic. They're just running these fire launchers. Oh, they just kind of ran them around as opposed to actually hitting things. And
Ah, that was really good.
finally, the monks are actually tanking a lot of damage here. Like, able to just eat up a lot of hits and just heal each other as well. And there, these clockwork nested bees gonna go down for IamMagic, and the Muslim is hitting this base, killing a lot of villagers, killing a lot of these workers.
Yeah, the Muslim has cut down the economic advantage now from 124 from IamMagic and 139 for the Muslim. So the Muslim now caught up to him and will be able to like sustain himself economically.
Oh, and these spears actually clearing up those fire lancers. The fire lancers are actually charging in, throwing torches instead of using the fire lancer charge. Oh, but this cannon up at the north of the Muslim's base opens up a gap. The Muslim builds an additional layer of walls, building another keep. And just like has to, because they're gonna potentially lose otherwise. And oh wow, the Muslim now has
Oh, there's a
built.
hole. There is a hole on the back of the Muslim base.
Oh no, that's so
That
bad.
wall wasn't entirely completed, and now those fire lancers have gone in.
Yeah, there are some spears here, so they will be able to contest these at least to some degree. And the farmers actually aren't really finding anything to kill. A lot of the Muslims' workers are just not in his base. They're at the front mining this gold. At the front of IamMagic's base mining the stone. And oh no, these fire lancers, they're just getting slowly picked off. I mean, they might kill this bombard cannon. But the two bombard cannons are covering each other. There's so many spears here as well. The fire lancers are just running around getting killed. IamMagic, they just
Meanwhile, at
lost
the
so
front,
much.
yeah, that raid would have been absolutely amazing if it was anywhere else.
Yeah, the Muslim just didn't have their army there. And the fire lancers, not really knowing that that was the case, just kind of ran around looking for targets. And I think, yeah, they've been cleaned up there. And funnily, that actually almost helps the Muslim, because when you clump up your army to defend, it means instead of just rallying units across the map single file, you have a big wave of units to come forward and help. Oh, and like
Yeah,
there's...
those clockwork bombards have just been doing a lot of work.
And actually, because here's this like tiny little detail. These two monks at the front of the Muslims' army have been helping so much. They've still been alive this whole time. They've been keeping the spearmen healed up. So his army is actually even more efficient than you would normally think it would be otherwise. And oh, these bombard cannons are picking off so many of these fire lancers before they reach them. And the spears.
The hero spearmen just stabbing away at the charging fire lancers.
Yeah, and oh, we have some fire lancers coming in on the... Oh, well, I mean, they were, but they're getting absolutely gunned down on the way in. Young Dynasty comes in, giving those extra Imperial Age Dynasty bonuses. And yeah, the Muslim is just overrunning him with spearmen right now. Like, the idea of mass fire launcher, yeah, it's very strong, but the Muslim's just very able to deal with it. And oh no, we saw one town center go down. We're gonna see the main town center go down as well. And IamMagic, they're just gonna fall behind more and more on economy. They're gonna be having a lot of difficulty to recover.
Oh, those spearmen they were absolutely excellent bracing. They managed to snare a couple of fire lancers there to get a kill, and sure, they're getting attacked now by the nest of bees, and it is going to be very unfortunate to lose them, but
And oh
at the
wow,
end of the day...
IamMagic runs forward this army of villagers to kill these bombards.
I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah, but I think he's also going to lose a bunch of them. I think these fire lancers... Oh, fire lancers run into them. I don't think they get the AoE off, but... Oh.
But the other bombs also get a few shots in, and now the Muslim is at 134 villagers, while IamMagic is at 66.
Oh, that's really rough. And IamMagic lost 2 town centers in this attack as well, so they're going to be really struggling. They're just continuing to pump out elite fire lancers. And you know, I think they're going to kill a lot of the siege, but oh, I don't think it's going to be enough. I think they're just going to constantly bleed units. They're just going to constantly bleed economy. They're having to run units out into the center of the map now to pick things up, which there are keeps defending that, but that's also a lot of investment of stone to keep those keeps up. And the Muslim...
The thing is that the Muslim does have another stone cropping on his base, and another one that is fairly close by. So he's not necessarily in a terrible position to keep those sort of castles up for longer.
Yeah, and actually, because he's taking the resources in front of his base, that works really well, because that's where his army is. That's where he's pushing.
Yeah.
Oh, and he even raids this gold line. I think he did a little bit of damage to that villager account. Oh, wow. 47 workers now left for IamMagic. And oh, fire lancers running! Oh, they get a big hit. They kill, what, like 10 more villagers there? Something along those lines.
Oh.
IamMagic down to 40 villagers now. And they're just fire lancers running around the map. And yeah, IamMagic's just like...
that's gonna be good.
Yeah.
So this is now a 1-1 tie series.
No, the Muslim...
Oh no, this is...
The Muslim takes it.
Forward.
The Muslim goes through to the finals. Oh.
Man, that L game. Absolutely excellent.
That was magnificent. The Muslim played that, I would say, not as well economically. They were definitely behind. But
I think that was on purpose. I think that he avoided over booming because he realized that if he got himself better quality units than his opponent, he was going to be fine. And I think that's exactly what we saw. If you look at the villager count, like, sure, IamMagic boomed out into Imperial Age, but the Muslim got into Imperial Age first. He started producing the cannons, the bombers from the clock tower, and those were higher quality than the fire lances. And like, for as cool as it was to see the Spirit Wave with all of the stables around it to produce the fire lancers, those units were never going to be able to like overcome just an overwhelming amount of bomber cannons that were going into the base. And the short distance between the two base entrances also made it super easy for the Muslim to just build keeps to maintain the choke point and then just stream more units in, because there was no way for IamMagic to cut the reinforcements. He always had to deal with an attack going on the front of his base because the reinforcements unit could always go into it.
Yeah, and actually, the funny thing there is like because of that, like I guess game plan from Demuslim, he just sent his workers to the front where the army was. So when that big Fire Lancer counterattack came in, and like Demuslim had the great idea of having the second layer of stone walls, he was rebuilding the army while he was attacking. So his arm, he would actually have defensive units at home. Even though there was a gap, there wasn't like an economy back there. It was just production buildings that were making spears that happened to be very good against Fire Lancers. And there was a couple of bombard cannons, so the Fire Lancers just couldn't kite the spears. And yeah, it was like
Yeah,
really nicely played there by the Muslim. Just strategically, they were a level ahead of their opponent,
yeah,
despite being behind on economy. And yeah, I mean, it's really smart. Like things like just going for Spearman, recognizing that hey, like my opponent's probably going to go for Fire Lancers. He definitely saw Lancers beforehand, and he was just like, I'm going to dedicate the spears. They're what I need to protect the front line. They're cheap. They are able to do like worker harass and stuff. And later into the game, he went for Fire Lancers when he thought it was a good idea to go for Fire Lancers. And was able to just do a whole bunch of damage to the workers. But he had the spear siege composition that he needed to push into the opponent's base.
yeah. And while we were casting this series, the other one finished. So if people watching don't want to get spoiled, go ahead and mute the stream now or or do something else. But it turns out the Viper lost to
Oh,
Vortex 2-1.
so
It is gonna be a finals for Vortex versus the Muslim.
we're gonna see two Warcraft 3 former Warcraft 3 players duke it out in the finals of this cup. That's fascinating because yeah, they were both Warcraft 3 players. They both went to StarCraft 2 and had good results early on. And it's gonna be them going up against each other in the finals. That's really interesting. I'm really looking forward to this finals. Uh, that
Neither with any history on Age of Empires titles either. They haven't played those games competitively before, so it's pretty interesting to see that they came in and fulfill their potential, I suppose.
yeah. So this was the semifinals for the SteelSeries Prime Cup, 2021. And that's us. I think I'm gonna go drop a
Yeah,
raid on the mainstream because I think the people running this tournament have done a stellar job. And of course, I think they were streaming at the beginning of yesterday, realized that oh, they actually knew no, I need to do admin work for this event instead. Uh, so they deserve all of the love, and we're gonna go drop a raid on them.
yeah, fly like Django.
Yeah, so really nicely done. And this has just been a really fun event. I will be back. Uh, when am I going to come back? I'm going to be back in 2 days with Wargroove stuff, and then in the future, I will be doing some more Age of Empires stuff. Like, Adiko, it has been an absolute pleasure casting with you. I hope we get to do.
Same.
Yeah, I hope we get to do more again sometime. No.
Yeah, for sure. There are certainly going to be enough events, I can tell you that.
Oh, absolutely. If you ever wish for another streamer for your event, just give me a shout as well. I will happily jump in for that.
It's open casting, so if you happen to be awake at any times and it's a War Chief Friday, go ahead and stream it.
Awesome. Sounds good. All right. Let's find this channel and we'll go raid them.
I can send you the link on Discord.